What's up, everyone? I am the Kaiju no Kami,
Cruellica Kain,
and this is my quickie review for Disney's Harley Quinn.
What?
I mean...
Cruella. Duh.
Cruella. Cruella is the origin story of Cruella de Vil from 101 Dalmatians. We get to see her start out as when she is first born, and then becomes a child, and then becomes an adult. We get to see her meet her henchmen that is from the movie, and overall the movie was a lot of fun.
So I really enjoyed it because my moniker is based off of Cruella de Vil, because she's actually my favorite Disney villain of all time. So seeing an origin story, at first I was a little afraid because Disney messed up Maleficent and kind of messed up a little bit of like Beauty and the Beast and things like that, and Alice in Wonderland. So I was really afraid. And then this one, every time we saw a trailer, it was like, oh my god, they're doing Birds of Prey over and over and over again.
Yeah, it looked just like it was Harley Quinn.
But I will say, as someone who has deeply loved Cruella de Vil for so many years, they did the character justice in this movie.
And that's where her screen name came from.
Yes! And I've had that screen name since 1998. Oh my god, I'm old.
Yes, you are.
So the best part about this movie is the fact that Cruella does not have this redemption arc. She is not this sympathetic villain that we have to like root for, that she's going to become good in the end. She's crazy.
Well, like, it's cool because you can sympathize with her situation.
Yes.
But she goes to such lengths that at the same time you're like, should I sympathize with her or should I not? Because I understand where she's coming from, but at the same time, she's going a little bit too far.
Well, the best way I can describe how somebody felt about this movie is Silverquill. When we were leaving the theater, I don't know if you heard this, but he specifically told me, even though the character in 101 Dalmatians is a terrible being that wants to kill puppies, I can see how the charisma of such a character can be enjoyable. And I think that's what you really need to get out of this. Emma Stone channeled
Is phenomenal.
The essence of what Cruella de Vil has always been. Yes, this is going to be an alternate universe to 101 Dalmatians. I don't see this leading perfectly into the original movie that we had, because obviously the original movie's from the 50s and 60s type of era, where this is probably going to be going into a more modern era because they're in the 70s right now. So I don't see it going down the same path, but I do see her becoming the villain.
Emma Stone is incredible as Cruella, and the lady that plays her rival, Emma Thompson, I think it was?
Yes, the Baroness.
Yeah, she plays the Baroness. Both of them do an amazing job of chewing their scenery. Like, every time they were on screen, not only did they steal the screen time when they were on their own, but then even when they were both together, it was like this battle of who's going to have the better screen time, the Baroness or Cruella. Who is like, they're like, oh my god, she's doing a great job, but she's doing a great job. I don't know which one of these is outdoing each other. It seems like that both actresses are trying to just outdo one another.
Well, the designs of the costume. Whomever chose the costume design work for this particular movie really understood, I would say, a lot of what modern design looked like in the 70s. While the 70s was not my favorite era of clothing, it's better than the 80s, to be fair, but the one thing I liked about, especially in England, is you had that mod punk design, which everything Cruella wore really channeled that. And if you ever want to see a really cool representation of that design, watch The Mighty Boosh. It's a British comedy show, but the main character channels that type of style.
I will say the movie does drag on in parts. I don't think it really needed to be 2 hours because there were parts where it was just like, okay, come on, can we get moving? But then when Cruella actually shows up at the party in the red dress with the mask on that looked really cool, everything starts finally moving much better outside of one little segment I still think kind of dragged on a bit. But there were a lot of twists and turns that this movie went into that I didn't see coming. The soundtrack is
phenomenal, because the really cool thing about this is they took songs from that era, but they actually had more modern musicians doing a take on them.
Not just the songs, even just the instrumental music fit with every scene. It actually kind of sometimes gave me like this horror movie vibe with the way the music was just pumping your blood up for what was going on screen.
Oh, absolutely. And I feel like whomever decided to write this movie or greenlit this particular movie really took a lot of the feedback on many of the other live actions that came on prior to this, because they really decided how to make sure it worked and didn't take away from the fact that this is a villain. That you are having a villain on screen that has to be evil. Because Maleficent was redeemed. Gaston was a caricature of himself. Then you had the Mad Hatter and the Queen from Alice in Wonderland.
And then you had Jafar, who had no development at all.
And same thing with Scar. You had so many missed opportunities with the villains that, being that Cruella de Vil what has been always one of my favorite Disney villains, to the point where I did name myself after her, I was very scared. And I wasn't scared because, oh my god, it looked like Harley Quinn, because Harley Quinn is awesome. But I was scared because I didn't want a redeemed character. And every time I saw the trailer, that's all I saw was like this kind of foolishness where they're going to redeem a character that should never be redeemed. It's kind of like Freddy Krueger for me. What Freddy Krueger and what Cruella de Vil technically stand for is deplorable. But how they present themselves and the characters themselves are awesome.
And because of the actors.
Absolutely. Because even Glenn Close did a fantastic job.
I also have to say, the other actors that played her henchmen, they all had great chemistry together.
Oh yeah, I feel like they had to hang out a lot. Because Emma Stone, obviously, she's a Yank.
And the child version of Cruella did it. Actually, all three of them as a child, they look just like their adult counterparts.
When you go from the baby to the teen to the adult, yes.
So,
even though Emma Stone is much older than what Cruella was supposed to be in this movie, by about 10 years.
It worked though.
No, it worked. She had great charisma. Every actor and actress in this movie really knew their stuff.
And she did a great job of portraying both Estella, which is her birth name, and her Cruella character, just being both personalities. Kind of like Jimmy McGill and Saul Goodman in Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. Where you like them both, but you have to lose the one to get to the other.
Well, and that's the hard part, but I think the other thing I really liked about the movie is it also didn't take itself too seriously. It had fun with itself, and it wasn't afraid to take risks. And being that it is a Disney movie, it wasn't overly wholesome as you expect, especially having formerly been an animated property. Because that's the one flaw that I have with Maleficent, is that it was trying to go this whole wholesome route, which frustrated me because Angelina Jolie embodied Maleficent.
She looked the part. She just didn't have anything else to it.
And so I'm happy they didn't pull any punches here, because she got drunk. There were thieves the entire movie. Everything had to be an angle. It was like a heist movie, even though it wasn't intentioned to be a heist movie. Lastly,
just so you know, there is no post-credits scene. Once the scene in the middle of the credits goes, you're good to go. Overall, I'm going to give Cruella a 9 out of 10.
I have to say, I'll give it a 9 out of 10, not because I don't think it's perfect, because it's my favorite movie of the year, but I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 of hesitancy because I know we have 2 sequels, and I'm just fearful that somebody is going to screw something up with those sequels, because I remember Star Wars.
Have you guys seen Cruella? If so, let me know in the comments. Tell me what you thought about it. Click like, subscribe, the bell notification, whatever else YouTube has you clicking on to support me. You can support me on Patreon, Kaiju no Kami, Twitter, Kaiju no Kami, Instagram, Kaiju no Kami, Facebook, Kaiju no Kami, and my website at creativitybydesignllc.com. Until next time.
Bye. Bye.